I built an app for Mercedes-Benz, and then I kind of got screwed over. I'm going to tell you the story about how that happened. My name is Kelvin, aka KG.codes, and I'm a professional software engineer, principal engineer at a mid-level tech company. I've been building apps, mobile apps, and websites professionally pretty much my whole adult life. And I built an app for Mercedes-Benz, a Mercedes-Benz dealership in Columbus, Georgia. And it kind of didn't go the way that I expect, but it also was a good experience. So let me get into it. So let me search up the app on the App Store here. If I just type in Mercedes-Benz, scroll down a little bit, it's Mercedes-Benz of Columbus. It's the exact app that I built. The listing is still here, but as you can see, it's been discontinued as of July 31st, 2018. And I'm going to go through how I built this app and how that happened. So first off, I ended up working with some partners. We had a software development company. I was doing freelance work through it, side work. And my partners got a meeting with this Mercedes-Benz dealership in Columbus, Georgia, which was crazy that they even got the meeting. They took the meeting. I wasn't there, but they pitched this idea to this Mercedes-Benz app, they pitched the idea of this Mercedes-Benz app to this dealership in Columbus. Had a pitch deck. It was professional. Like, it had previews of what the app would look like. It would be very good for the dealership and for the dealership's customers, because the dealership's customers could go in the app and see what was going on with their car, their service history. Customers can look up new cars that they were interested in. It was just a lot of stuff you could do in the app. Anything you would expect to do on a Mercedes-Benz dealership website, you could now just do through this app. So my partners got this meeting, pitched it. The people there loved it. Whoever was managing the website and managing that sort of the marketing, they loved it, and they commissioned us, paid us, hired us to build this mobile app that we presented to them, which was cool. And so me being the developer, I didn't go to the meeting, and that's the kind of beauty of working with these partners. I didn't have to go to the meeting, but it was then my turn to build this app out. And so I started working on it, started building it out. It's a very simple app if you look at it here. It had this start screen with the little push button that had like a motor engine sound in it for Mercedes when you pressed it, and that would take you to the home screen. It just had a list of options. So in that list of options, you could look up the dealership and the location. You could contact the dealership for different contact information, call them, email, stuff like that. You could view the new and used vehicles that were currently on the lot. Then you had sales offers and things like that. You could click on these vehicles and, view the information about the vehicles. You could also sign in with your VIN and get your service history for that dealership, which that was probably one of the coolest features. And then you could call them and get a new dealership appointment, get a new service appointment, and, do a number of things that you could, that was just convenient to you within an app. And then the dealership could send out notifications through the app. They could send out information to the users that already own Mercedes or users that were just interested in owning Mercedes. They could also start their financing through the app. It was just a good overall app. Now, visually, it is a bit dated because I built this back in, I think, 2016 or so. But at the time, this was a pretty cool, sleek app to me. Getting back to the story, what actually happened? So, anyway, we built the app. We got it on the App Store. Everything was great. And people loved the app. People were downloading the app. They even was downloading, not even knowing it was just for the Columbus dealership. They were thinking it was like more of a global, or thinking for Columbus, Ohio instead of Columbus, Georgia. And so the app shot up really high on the App Store. It got a lot of downloads due to the Mercedes name. And so then one day, maybe like 2018, early 2018, we got a call from the Mercedes-Benz dealership, and they said that Mercedes corporate or global or whatever called them and told them that they cannot have their own app anymore. They need to use whatever new Mercedes Me app that Mercedes-Benz was developing at the time. And that was sort of like a kick in the chest to us, because it was like we were hosting for them. We had already got paid to build the app, and then we were hosting the back end for them too and getting paid for that. And so Mercedes-Benz kind of just put an axe to that, told his dealership, you need to have your customers use our app and not have any conflicting things. They download the dealership app and then they download this global app. They just wanted to use their app. And it seemed very convenient or very fishy that we built this app. There was already apps on the App Store, before this for other dealerships. We built our app. Our app was pretty, shooting up the store. I think it was the most fully featured app at the time for Mercedes on the store, or for any Mercedes dealership on the store. And so it's kind of fishy that they just called down like less than 2 years later. It might have been less than a year. I don't even know. But they called down and say like, hey, y'all need to use our app. We're working on this whole new thing. And it's like, why y'all just started working on some new thing? It just happened to be when we built our app. Now, I'm not saying that we forced them to step their game up or forced them to build a new app or push them to a new app, but it just seems really fishy that would happen to us at that time. So they were required to discontinue our app and then basically push their customers to go to the Mercedes-Benz Me app at the time. They've redone it now to be named, I think, just Mercedes-Benz USA, but it used to be called like Mercedes Me. And so it's just really fishy. So I'm not saying we had nothing to do with it, but maybe we did. I don't know, man. I mean, I want to say that we did, because of how prominent that app was in the App Store. It still gets downloads today, even though it says that it's discontinued, because I never took it down. So anyway, it's just an interesting thing, man, because I think our plan was to push this across many different dealerships. After getting this one dealership, we're going to try to go with word of mouth and then try to do some more presentations, hopefully catch the eye of Mercedes-Benz corporate and roll this out more on a bigger scale. And that just didn't happen. And it seems like we kind of got shot in the foot in a sense. I don't know, but I don't know for sure, but it just seems really convenient that they have this new mandate that comes down after we build this dealership's app. Kind of goes back to, why didn't they just ask us to build their app? If they did know about us, like, I don't know if they did or not, I'm not saying anything, but it just feels that way. And so I feel like we had an opportunity that got missed, or either the opportunity got crushed. I don't know which one it is. Maybe there's a future in this, but I just want to share that story because it was good to have built something for such a prominent, well-known brand with my own hands and having programmed it. It was a cool experience. So I wish that it could have went further. A little bit information, if you're more technical about how I built this, is I used on the front end, I built a native mobile app using Objective-C, and then on the back end, I actually used PHP as the API endpoints to send data to and from the app. And then I used a MySQL database to hold the dealership information, vehicle information, service history, all the user data for people that signed in. And so what would happen is the front end app, I built it natively using Objective-C. That was just how the app looks. That's where you download it from the store. But on the back end, the app will communicate with these PHP API endpoints to retrieve vehicle data, to retrieve user data from this basically this API service that I had on the back end. And so then I had a MySQL database to hold the data in, which was sort of definitely being accessed by the API endpoints. And so then I also set up an FTP server for Mercedes-Benz to export or import the dealership data, the vehicle data, service history to this FTP folder. And then I wrote another PHP script that would actually ingest that data that they sent in and put it into the database so that the app had access to it through the API, if that makes sense. And so I had these scripts that would just routinely go pick up that data, process it into the system. So to host this, I put it on Google Cloud Platform. I hosted everything there. It's similar to AWS. It's a cloud provider where you can spin up these virtual services and servers and databases in the cloud. And so I use Windows Server and IIS on top of that to host the database, host the API, host the FTP uploads and all that stuff. And so then for the push notifications, I also used OneSignal, which is, I definitely suggest that it's a free service for sending push notifications. And then I use Windows Service SMTP server for email. So that basically was the whole tech stack. PHP API endpoints, MySQL database, FTP server and folders, scheduled PHP scripts to ingest the data. For every morning, I would ingest the data from Mercedes-Benz to get the latest vehicle information on used and new vehicles, because stuff would get sold, stuff would get added every day. And then Google Cloud Platform to host everything on in the cloud, and OneSignal for push notifications. And then the front end of the app was just a native iOS application that you would build using Xcode and Objective-C at the time. Today it would be Swift. But I hope that makes sense if anybody's interested in the tech stack. This was a long time ago. I probably wouldn't build it exactly like that today, but that's how I built it back then. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions about my experience. I appreciate you listening to my little story time. And yeah, see you soon.